What do I have to do to prove it to you?
I don't know, Chuck. Could you reach into your breast pocket and tell me what's there?
What now?
Can you tell the court what that was?
A battery.
Mr. Chairman, please.
You recognize that man in back? His name is Huel Babineau. He's on our witness list. You bumped into him in the stairway. He'll testify he planted this fully charged battery on you over an hour and a half ago.
All pretty real, with the exception of Jimmy would probably have to start that whole statement with, would it surprise you to know? Right? If he does that, then it's a question. And, of course, Chuck can answer the question. Otherwise, what he's doing is actually testifying, but still pretty close. Stopped doing Better Call Saul there for a minute and almost had a riot on my hands. So I don't have time to go through every episode of Better Call Saul, so we are gonna do some of my favorite scenes. This is one of the most famous scenes from the show. This is where Jimmy is actually cross-examining Chuck. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the show. He's cross-examining his own brother on the stand during his own hearing for in front of the New Mexico bar. So, all right, let's jump in.
All due respect, but you do sound somewhat unhinged on the recording.
Yes, I understand that. But what you heard was theater, a performance, play acting. I exaggerated the symptoms of my disease to extract the truth.
So that's really important. You'll find out why here in a minute, but he is essentially trying to add credibility to his own testimony, his own recording of Jimmy's confession. Jimmy essentially altered some documents to make his brother look bad and confessed to it on a recording earlier in the season, right? Well, Chuck did sound unhinged. Chuck sounded like a little crazy because Chuck is a little crazy. He thinks he's allergic to electricity. Okay, so he is trying to give his own testimony credibility right now. The rest of this scene, Jimmy's gonna try to rip that credibility apart.
I describe it as an acute allergy to electromagnetism.
It's not a common condition, is it?
I know it sounds strange, I do. But 30 years ago, no one had heard of peanut allergies.
But you admit that no doctor has ever diagnosed you.
AIDS was not identified properly until 1981. HIV wasn't known as the cause until 83. These things take time to unravel, even for doctors.
Would you say that your illness affects your ability to think clearly?
So this is interesting because this guy actually, this is the attorney that is representing the New Mexico State Bar. So he is trying to add credibility to Chuck's testimony. And it sounds like he's sort of tearing him apart, but he's not. This testimony was essentially staged, okay? Maybe staged is a pretty harsh word for it, but Chuck already knew and had given this attorney all of the answers that he was going to give. They already knew this back and forth. So what's interesting about this scene is that it's a scene. This was already scripted, right? Not word for word, but this attorney knew, I'm gonna ask you this question, and Chuck knew, I'm gonna answer exactly this way. So what he's doing is actually softball pitching him and giving him his own chance to defend himself and say, no, I'm credible. You should believe me.
Do you hate your brother?
Absolutely not. I love my brother. There's nothing malicious in Jimmy. He has a way of doing the worst things for reasons that sound almost noble. But what I know for sure is that the law is too important to be toyed with.
So what's important to know also is that earlier in this episode, Chuck had rehearsed that line and rewritten it and said, how exactly do I say this to appeal to the New Mexico Bar, who is all attorneys. This room is just full of attorneys. The three judges sitting on the stand are attorneys. Judges are always attorneys, but Chuck testifying is an attorney. The attorney questioning him, of course, is an attorney. And of course, Jimmy and Kim, his girlfriend slash representative for this case, they're all attorneys. So he's trying to figure out a way to say, I'm speaking your language. You should believe me because we're all the same team here. We're team attorney, right?
I'm sorry, my co-counsel and I need a moment to confer.
Please be brief, Counselor.
Yes, of course.
Should be.
Do you have the email clothes? Yeah, of course. Can you,
So now, of course, Jimmy, knowing that Chuck has just tried to defend his testimony by saying, I sounded unhinged, but it was all theater. Jimmy wants him to be unhinged, right? Prove that statement false. Drag his credibility down, okay? So he brings his ex-wife in, who Chuck, you find out earlier in the season, Chuck is still in love with his ex-wife. So now he's bringing his ex-wife in to get him all emotional, seeing if he can unhinge him.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Might I have a moment to get a breath?
Oh, of course, Mr. McGill. Folks, let's call this 15. Everybody please be back and ready to go on the hour.
Interesting there that the Jimmy and his attorney, Kim, ask for a brief moment, and the judges basically say, well, hurry it up. And then Chuck says, oh, I need some time, and he gets 15 minutes. So stuff like that happens in court all the time. They like Chuck, they know him, he has a good reputation in the community, so of course it's, oh, for somebody like you, Chuck, yes, of course.
You mentioned it's painful.
It is. There's a tightness in my chest, difficulty breathing, and pain. Burning pain. The pain spreads everywhere.
Sounds horrible. And does it hurt right now?
There's always some discomfort, yes. Electricity is everywhere in the modern world. But I very much appreciate the indulgence of the panel for their accommodation here today.
Pause testimony for a little butt kissing. Okay, good job, Chuck.
Jimmy, do you have something in your pocket?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. My cell phone. From this distance, you should feel it, and you don't, do you?
Mr. McGill, you were warned to leave your electronics outside.
It's all right. It's all right. May I? Just as I thought. There's no battery in here. You removed the battery.
So Chuck at this point is thinking that he has just ripped Jimmy's little charade apart and proven himself trustworthy and proven that he's not crazy, and put all the credibility behind his testimony that he needs to.
What do I have to do to prove it to you?
I don't know, Chuck. Could you reach into your breast pocket and tell me what's there?
What now?
Can you tell the court what that was?
A battery.
Mr. Chairman, please.
You recognize that man in back? His name is Huel Babineau. He's on our witness list. You bumped into him in the stairway. He'll testify he planted this fully charged battery on you over an hour and a half ago.
All pretty real, with the exception of Jimmy would probably have to start that whole statement with, would it surprise you to know? Right? If he does that, then it's a question. And, of course, Chuck can answer the question. Otherwise, what he's doing is actually testifying, but still pretty close.
No, it's a trick. It has
Enough
to...
is enough. I submit that Mr. McGill's mental illness is a non-issue. If he were schizophrenic, it wouldn't take away from the fact that the
I
defendant...
am not crazy!
And right there, that's what Jimmy wanted. The whole time he was trying to show, I'm not unhinged. Chuck was trying to show, I'm not unhinged. And Jimmy wanted him to show, yeah, you freaking are. And he just gave it to him.
I am not crazy. I know he swapped those numbers. I knew it was 1216. One after Magna Carta, as if I could ever make such a mistake. Never. I just couldn't prove it. He covered his tracks. He got that idiot at the copy shop to lie for him.
Mr. McGill, please, you don't have to go...
You think this is something? You think this is bad? This chicanery? He's done worse. That's billboard. Are you telling me that a man just happens to fall like that? No, he orchestrated it. Jimmy. He defecated through a sunroof.
Did a video about that one. You gotta watch. I didn't even know what a Chicago sunroof was, but yeah, go back and check out my other Better Call Saul videos.
I shouldn't have. I took him into my own firm. What was I thinking? He'll never change. He'll never change. Ever since he was 9, always the same. Couldn't keep his hands out of the cash drawer. But not our Jimmy. Couldn't be precious Jimmy. Stealing them blind. And he gets to be a lawyer? What a sick joke. I should have stopped him when I had the chance. And you have to stop him.
And that is the look that Jimmy wanted. They wanted it. These three people are holding Jimmy's fate in their hands, essentially, or at least the fate of his law license. And he wants them to all think, man, Chuck is crazy, we can't listen to him. And that whole rant that just happened is sad, because if you've actually watched the show, you know that most of what he just said is 100% true. With the exception of this whole electricity thing, he just proved that that's nothing more than mental illness. So, but all of the things that he talked about, all of the things that he said Jimmy did, all legit. And the show has told us that up to this point. It sounds crazy, but it actually wasn't. All right, one of the best scenes from Better Call Saul. If you're not a fan of the show, I don't know how you're not. Excellent show. Go back and check out my other videos that we've done, and let me know if you want to see more of Better Call Saul.